Hi, I'm Lisa. Welcome to Yoga Fury Online. Today we're going to be doing an hour class that focuses on the shoulders. So you might be working with an old shoulder injury that's causing you some discomfort, or you might be someone that holds quite a lot of tension in the shoulders and neck, and that might be due to your day job perhaps. You sit hunched over at a desk a lot or driving. And so the practice today aims to bring some movement and relief for the shoulders. Just to say at this point, if you're working with a new injury or new pain, or some discomfort in the shoulders that you're not sure of the cause of, it's always obviously advisable to seek medical professional advice first before embarking on any activity such as today's. The hour flow today will focus on various movements through the shoulders, so bringing about lots of mobility through the shoulder girdle, working through its whole range of movement. And we'll also be holding a few postures for several moments to enable some opening, stretch through the shoulders and hopefully provide some relief and further mobility. And with that said, we're going to start with one of those postures that we're going to hold for a few moments, and that's a version of child's pose. So come down onto your mat, and for this posture and another couple, we're going to be using props. So if you have blocks, bricks handy, then make them accessible. If you don't have these props, then you can use an alternative, so maybe some hardback books. Also for this one, it would be possible just to use, say, a rolled up towel, blanket or jumper. So pop your supports just at the top of your mat. So we've got two here and they're about shoulder width apart. And now we'll come into child's pose. Take yourself into all fours and then take the knees out as wide as your mat. Bring the bases of the big toes to touching and just gently gliding the tailbone back towards the heels. And then walking the hands forwards. You might need to just adjust the position of your supports here if you can't quite reach them. And then we're just coming to a point where the hands land on top at shoulder distance apart. And then once you've found that position with the hands, just allowing the forehead to drift down towards the floor. And your forehead might have not even met the ground yet, and you might already notice quite a lot of stretchiness, openness through the shoulders. It might feel a little bit uncomfortable at first. So just allow yourself to adjust to that sensation, and then perhaps the forehead meets the earth. And just settle into this shape, settle into the sensations that come up. And of course, at any time you can readjust your posture. You might remove the support if it becomes too much. And just take this time to really settle in. Perhaps you close down the eyes to allow your focus to become more inward. And we're just opening through the armpits, into the shoulders and the upper back. And by having the hands up on this support, it just allows more space for us to drop into, allowing us to gently open up. And of course, you might notice sensations elsewhere in the body. So perhaps noticing that openness, that stretch through the hips as the tailbone sits back on the heels. So taking note of those other areas. And then focusing in on your breath, and perhaps you send the breath to those areas where you feel the sensation. And the breath can feel quite palpable here as we hold our child's pose, as you might feel the belly inflate against the thighs with the inhale, and then softening and recoiling with the exhale. So just continue to take steady rounds of breath. Releasing any tension through the shoulders and the neck. Allow the skin of the face to be soft, the jaw to release. And we'll just hold for a couple of moments longer. Full, steady rounds of breath. Now begin to lift the forehead from the mat and take your hands off your supports and just gently walking them towards you. And we'll come through to a seated position, so you can pop your supports out the way to one side. We'll come back to using them later on. And I'm going to sit kneeling, but if it's more comfortable for you to sit cross-legged or with legs out long, then please do take that option. And we're just going to begin with a warm-up for the arms, so some stretches and movement through the shoulders and the neck. So have your hands either on your thighs or alongside your body. And now we'll drop the chin towards the chest. And then rolling the left ear towards the left shoulder. The chin drifts back towards the chest, right ear comes to the right shoulder. And just simply moving the head from left to right, right to left. Nice and slow, perhaps closing down the eyes. And then slowing down the movement as you feel through any stiff or sticky spots. We're not forcing it, we're just using the weight of the head to roll one side to the other. And then when your ear next draws to the left side, just pausing here and notice that length that you're creating along the right side of the neck, just adjusting to that length, that sensation. And then option here to lift up the left hand, the left arm, and drape the hand over the right side of the face. And we're just using the weight of the arm with the elbow bent there just to draw that left ear a little closer to the shoulder. And you'll notice some further length in the right side of the neck, but just come to the point where it feels there's sensation, but it shouldn't be painful. And then another option here is we can lift the right arm away so that the wrist is in line with the shoulder, just drawing the fingers back towards the face. This might be where you stay. Or a third option, we can make little circles in one direction with the hand. And then making those little circles the other way. And just notice what you feel here in the right upper arm into the shoulder. And then just releasing that, so allow the right hand to drift down, and then using that left hand to bring the head back up to neutral. And we'll roll through some more of those head rolls. So the chin drifts to the chest, and then the right ear comes to the right shoulder. Continue to make these little semicircles back and forth. The shoulders soften away from the ears. And then the next time the right ear draws to the right shoulder, just pausing here. Feel that length that you create along the left side. The shoulders remain nice and soft, drawn away from the ears. And then you can stay here, or option to lift that right arm and take the hand, drape it over the left side of the face, and then using the weight of the arm to draw the right ear a little closer to the shoulder. And staying with your breath here, tune in. And then once again, you can stay here, or option to raise the left arm away, drawing the fingers back towards the face. And then maybe you make those little circles with the hand in one direction. And then taking those circles back the other way. And then just release from that, using the right hand to guide the head back up to neutral. And we'll come through to a shoulder stretch that you might be familiar with already. It's quite a good one to bring about some stretchiness. So taking the right arm across the body over to the left-hand side, and we bend the left elbow and draw it up so that we hook the right upper arm in the crook of the left elbow. And then we're drawing that right arm over to the left-hand side by pulling that left arm back towards us. The hand just comes past the face, and just settle into that feeling, stretching through the right fingers. It might feel quite gentle for some of us, or others of us it might feel quite intense. So just settle into whatever comes up. Landing your gaze on a point in front of you. And perhaps you notice the breath, again quite palpable as the arms rise with the inhale against the chest and then falling with the exhale. We'll stay for one more round of breath here. And then gently releasing from that, and we'll take that the other side. So the left arm draws across the chest, and the right arm, we bend the elbow and then catch a hold of the left upper arm in the crook of the elbow, and then drawing the right hand past the face so that we lengthen that left arm out to the side, stretching through the fingers. And just notice if you're sort of overarching your spine here, beginning to flare the ribs forward. That can be quite easy to do. Just find a neutral point with the spine. Keep the tailbone lengthened. And settle into your breath. Take one more inhale here. And then as we release the breath out, we'll release the arms, and it can feel quite nice just to take some shoulder rolls back and forth, just to loosen up there. Now we'll come to a flow with the arms. So as you next take a breath in, sweep the arms up above the head. As you reach the top of the inhale, the hands meet, maybe take your gaze up, and then slowly as you release the breath out, the hands drift down towards the heart center. We'll take that a few more times. So as we breathe in, the shoulder blades draw out, and they elevate to the top of the breath, the hands meet, exhale, shoulder blades glide down the back. So make the movement really slow and meaningful, visualizing the movement in the shoulder blades. Inhale, lift up. Hands meet, exhale, drawing the hands back down to the heart center, nice and slow. And we'll take that 2 more times. Big breath in, stretch up. And then slowly the hands drift down as you release the breath out. One more time, big breath in. And then exhale, hands to the heart center. And just holding here. So we have our hands in prayer in Anjali Mudra, and we're going to take that behind us, so coming into reverse prayer. So I'll just demonstrate so that you can see. So we'll take the hands behind the back so that the fingertips meet. First of all, the palms are facing down, and then begin to press the hands together so that your hands move up to that space between the shoulder blades, the palms pressed together. If that feels uncomfortable for the wrists, then you can keep the wrists separate. And then we're rolling the shoulders back away from the ears as we press the hands together. The elbows are in line with the wrists, and just holding here, drawing the heart space forward. And if that feels uncomfortable or unavailable, you can take a hold of opposite elbows. That's another option here. And we'll just hold ourselves here in reverse prayer for a few moments. For some of us, it can feel quite a lot to hold this, but for some of us, it might be a little more gentle. So just hold what you've got, tune into the breath. Breathing into the front of the body. We'll just stay for 2 more rounds of breath. And then releasing from that, maybe make a few more rolls with the shoulders. And now we'll come through to an all fours position. So have the wrists underneath the shoulders and the knees hip width apart with the toes untucked. And we'll go through some cat-cows. So as we inhale, dropping the belly, lift the tailbone and chest, bending the gaze up. And then slowly with the exhale, we press the ground away and really visualize that movement of the shoulder blades drifting apart as the spine rounds. As we inhale, the belly drops, the tailbone and chest lift, sending the gaze up. Exhale, shoulder blades drift apart as we press the ground away, rounding the spine, tuck the chin in. And just continuing to roll back and forth through your cat-cows, making the movement nice and slow, and pairing the movement with your breath. We'll just take that one more time, so one more round of our cat-cows. Inhale, lifting the tailbone and chest. Exhale, everything tucks inwards. And then coming through to a neutral spine. And now we'll make our way into downward dog. So curling the toes under, have the fingers spread, root down through the hands and lifting the tailbone up and back. Lengthening through the backs of the legs. Have as much of a bend in the knees as you need to. And you might feel quite stiff today, I know I do. So just take a moment to walk out your legs, so bending one knee and then the other, swaying the hips from side to side. Keep pressing the ground away. And then we'll eventually come through to stillness. Relax the neck. And now coming up onto the balls of the feet, and then slowly drifting the heels over to the left-hand side. So you should be on the outside edge of your left foot and the inside edge of your right foot. So it's quite strong for the left arm into the shoulder. So keep pressing that left hand into the earth. And you'll notice that the right hand has become quite light. So we'll try and switch that on by just pressing that right hand into the ground. So although your weight is shifted over to the left, keep pressing through the right hand to lengthen through that arm up into the shoulder. It can feel a little bit awkward. And we'll just take that the other way. So come back to center onto the tiptoes or balls of the feet and then drifting the heels over to the left. So you immediately feel that right arm, a lot of weight on it, but then pressing through that left hand too. So you really find that length through the shoulder, through the arm into the shoulder. And then we'll come back to center, back through to our downward dog. Find some stillness here. And then take the gaze forward to the space between the hands, and then we'll slowly tread the feet up towards the wrists, finding a standing forward fold. So the feet are hip width apart. Have as deep a bend in the knees as you need here to allow your hands to reach the earth. Relax the neck. And then perhaps taking a hold of opposite elbows here, just allowing a gentle sway of the body from side to side. Notice that feeling along the backs of the legs as you rock from side to side. Relax through the jaw. And then coming through to stillness, release the elbows. And then we're going to land the right hand just in front of the face and have quite a deep bend in the right knee, so much so that you might be able to connect the right knee with your right upper arm. The left leg is towards straight. As you next draw a breath in, that left arm floats up to the sky, opening through the chest, the shoulders stack. Stay for your exhale, reaching through those left fingers. And then take another deep breath in, the left fingers stretch up. And then slowly with the exhale, that left hand drifts down and bend into that left knee. We'll take that the other side. So the left hand is in front of the face. Bend that left knee quite deeply so it connects possibly with your arm. The right leg comes towards straight. Big breath in as that right arm drifts up. Stay for your exhale. Perhaps turn your gaze up to your thumb. Big breath in.
And then with the exhale, that hand drifts back down to the earth. And now pressing through both feet, we'll rise up to standing. So slowly drawing up, vertebra stack one at a time. As you reach the top of your inhale, the arms lift up, the hands meet, and then drawing the hands back to Anjali Mudra at the center of the chest. Inhale, arms float up. Exhale, forward fold all the way down. Land your hands, and then stepping the left foot to the back of the mat. We're going to keep that knee floating up. The right knee has a bend in it. We'll stabilize ourselves with the left hand, so the left hand is under the shoulder. And then take a big breath in, that right arm reaches up, opening the chest. And then with the exhale, we dive the right hand behind the left arm, so through that gap, stretching through the right fingers. Inhale, right arm sweeps up, keeping the legs nice and strong. Exhale, dive through behind the left arm. We'll take that 3 more times. Inhale, right arm peels up. Exhale, dive it through the gap behind the left arm. 2 more times. And whilst we're bringing about that movement in the right arm and shoulder, the legs are steady, rolling that left inner thigh down towards the earth. Stretch the arm through. And then 1 more breath in as the arm lifts up. Exhale, release the hand to the outside of your foot. And now we'll step our right foot back so that we come back through to a downward dog, so the hips lift up and back. Now we're going to roll through to a plank, so come up onto the balls of the feet and then ripple the body forwards like a wave. The shoulders arrive above the wrists. Release your breath out. Take a breath in, pressing the floor away from the face. And then with the exhale, the knees bend, hips lift up and back. And we'll just take that a few more times. So really feel into the movement, drawing that movement into the shoulders. As you inhale, draw forwards. And then exhale, knees bend, hips up and back. 1 more time, inhale, come forwards. Exhale, knees bend, hips up and back, down dog. And we'll just come back through to that plank once more. So ripple forwards, and we'll just hold it for a moment here. As you press the ground away from the face, we're slightly doming into that space between the shoulder blades. And now slowly drift the knees, chest, chin, down towards the earth. Release the tops of the feet and allow the forehead to land to the mat. So if you know your back is a little sensitive, then I advise you for the next bit to come into Sphinx. So this is where the elbows are directly underneath the shoulders. The tops of the feet press into the mat as the shoulders draw away from the face and the lower ribs inch towards the elbows. Otherwise, if your back feels okay with it, then allow the forehead to release down and take the fingers out just wider than your mat so that you're on the very tips of your fingers like spiders and the elbows are bent. Take a breath in, lift the chest, and then with the exhale, that right shoulder drifts to the earth, and so does the right ear as we take the gaze to the left side. Inhale, lift up through center. Exhale, left shoulder drops to the earth as we take the gaze over to the right. And we'll just continue to move back and forth. Inhale through center, right shoulder drops. Inhale back through center, left shoulder. And it can feel super stretchy and releasing for the shoulders up and the upper back. 1 more time. And then back through to center, and then ripple back down. Hands come under the shoulders, the elbows draw in towards the ribs. Tuck the toes, hop the knees forward. Keep the belly strong as you press up through all fours, and then the hips lift up and back for downward dog. Send the gaze forward between your hands and walk your feet up towards the very top of your mat. Coming into a standing forward fold. Have as much of a bend in the knees as you need to. And now coming up to standing, so press through the feet, inhale, rise up, nice and tall, the arms lift. Hands meet, and then exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, forward fold. And now stepping the right foot to the back of the mat. So we've got that lunge in the front knee, the knee is over the ankle, and that right knee is lifted up. The right hand lands underneath the right shoulder. Take a deep breath in, that left arm reaches up to the sky, and then the exhale, we dive it behind the right arm, stretching that left hand through. Inhale, left arm lifts up. Exhale, dive it through the gap, keeping those legs steady. 3 more times. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, send the arm through. 2 more times. So really feeling into that whole range of movement of the shoulder. And then one more time, the arm lifts. And then this time with the exhale, we'll simply float that left hand to the outside of the left foot. And then step back, step that left foot back, coming back through to a downward facing dog. Then from our down dog, we'll drop the knees to the mat and we'll come through to our next supported posture that we're going to hold for a little bit longer. So this one is puppy pose or anahartasana. And I'll demonstrate it without supports first because you might not have supports, or you might find already that puppy pose is quite stretchy enough for you. It can feel quite intense. So for puppy pose, we come into all fours. And the important thing here is to keep the hips above the knees. So we stabilize that part of the body as we begin to tread the hands forwards towards the top of the mat. And then the heart begins to melt down as the armpits draw closer to the earth. And you might land on your chin. You might already know that that's okay for you. It does feel quite stretchy through the shoulders. Or you might be able to build up to eventually landing on your chin. Otherwise, take the forehead to the mat and just allow yourself to open up and release. So that's it without the props. Otherwise, if you'd like to try it with the props, take your blocks or equivalent support to the top of your mat. And again, they're going to be about shoulder width apart. And I would take, if you've got blocks, to the first setting. So I should have said that earlier with child's pose as well, just to have the blocks on the first setting. As you release into the posture, you might find that you put the blocks onto the second setting, but you can see how you go. So your props are in front of you, and we'll come back through to that start position, so in our all fours. And then what we'll do is take one elbow and then the other to the supports. And then you'll notice that you've got this space in front of the face, which we're going to allow ourselves to drop into. And then taking the hands behind the head in a sort of wide-fingered prayer position so that fingers all touch. And your face will sort of gently drift down towards that space that you've created behind your elbows. And just settle in, notice how it feels initially. Try and adjust to that sensation. So it's quite a deep stretch for the triceps as well as the shoulders and upper back. It might feel too much, so if it does, then you can come back into a regular puppy pose or even take child's pose here. If you want to go a little bit, have a little bit more, you can bring your blocks onto a higher setting and then take the elbows back. Just make sure whatever supports you're using are nice and stable. And by having them on a higher setting, you're just going to create more space for the front of you for your face to drop into, and that's going to allow yourself more of a stretch. So it can be easy to hold a bit of tension in the neck here, so just allow yourself to release from that by dropping the forehead down. It might even completely meet the earth. Settle into your breath. We'll just stay for 2 more rounds of breath. And carefully coming out of the posture by pressing into the elbows and using your arms to support your way back up, popping your blocks or other support out of the way. And now we'll come into the next flow. So just take a moment if it feels good to take some rolls with the shoulders before we come back into our downward dog. So lifting the hips up and back, make your way up through to downward dog. And now with the next breath in, we're going to pick up that right leg. So sweep the right leg up high. And then slowly with the exhale, the foot lands between the hands. We'll drop the back heel so that the toes point out to the side. Take a breath in. Rise up for warrior one. So there's a lunge in the front knee. The knee is over the ankle. The hips are square with the front of the mat. Lifting the arms up and rolling the shoulders back away from the ears. And now we're going to come back through to our reverse prayer position here that we did at the start of the class. So take the hands in prayer behind you. Moving the hands up to that space between the shoulder blades. Draw the elbows back in line with the wrists. Draw the lower ribs back. If you know that this already feels uncomfortable, you won't be able to hold it for some moments, then take a hold of opposite elbows. That's okay. And now we're going to draw that right hip back so the right leg lengthens. Drawing the right hip back and the left hip forward so that the hips are square. Take a deep breath in. And then as you release the exhale, hinging forwards from the hips. It's just coming to the point where you can feel your back starting to round. Just notice if your hips have become unsquare here. Shift the right hip back and the left hip forwards. And keep drawing the shoulder blades together. So this is a good one for the shoulders, but also for the legs. We don't want to completely forget our legs today in today's practice. So find steady breath here. Have a tuck of the chin to keep the neck long. One more round of breath here. As you find your breath out, release the arms, drift them down to the top of the mat and step your left foot to the top of your mat so that we come back into our standing forward fold. We'll come through to a halfway lift. So with the inhale, the fingertips come to the shins or knees, lift the chest halfway, the back is flat. Exhale to refold. Inhale, press through the feet, and then slowly we rise up to standing. The arms lift up, the hands meet. Exhale, hands heart center. Inhale, arms lift up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale for the halfway lift. Exhale, fold and step back into plank. Take a breath in our plank, and then find your knees, chest, chin, your way to the earth with the exhale. Untuck the toes. It's either a sphinx or a baby cobra on the inhale. Exhale, release. And then the hands are under the shoulders as you squeeze the elbows in, tuck the toes, hop the knees forward. Belly strong as you press up to all fours, hips up and back, down dog. The right leg lifts again with the inhale. Exhale, step it through between the hands. This time we stay on the ball of the back foot as we inhale, upright the chest, upright the arms. So coming into high lunge. So drawing the arms up, draw the lower ribs in, the belly draws towards the navel. And now we'll interlace the fingers above us and then press the palms up to the sky. So as you do that, you might feel that outward and upward rotation of the shoulder blades. So for some of us, again, it can feel quite gentle, but for others, it can feel a little stronger. And then we're going to get the legs working a bit more here so that we're not neglecting them. Take an inhale, exhale, the left knee lowers to the earth. Doesn't quite land. Inhale, press back up. Exhale, the knee drifts to the earth. Inhale, press back up. Keep pressing the palms up to the sky. Exhale, knee doesn't quite land, sorry. Inhale, press up. Exhale, the knee lowers. Inhale, press up. And now we're going to step that left foot to the front, stretch up nice and tall, and then release the arms down either side. And we'll take that flow to the other side. Let's just take a moment to reset. Take a breath in, the arms lift up. Exhale, forward fold all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, refold, and then we'll step back to downward dog. Take an inhale, the left leg lifts. Exhale, the foot steps to the front. The back heel lands with the toes are turned out to the side. Take a breath in, keep that front knee above the ankle as the arms lift up. So that back foot is landed, hips are square with the front of the mat, finding our warrior one position. Find your breath here. And then taking your arm position, so that might be your reverse prayer, or you might have a hold of opposite elbows here. Draw that left leg to straight, so that left hip shifts back. Take a breath in, and then as we exhale, hinging forwards from the hips, shifting the left hip back and the right hip forwards, tucking the chin so that the neck is long. Keep drawing the shoulder blades together and find your breath here. So breathing in to the upper back, the shoulders, that stretch in the left leg. One more round of breath. And then carefully softening into that front knee, release the hands and step the right foot up, finding our standing forward fold again. Inhale for halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale all the way up to standing. Press through the feet, rise up tall. Exhale, hands, heart center. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, refold, stepping back for plank. Hold our plank position here, take a breath in. Exhale, knees, chest, chin, soften the body to the earth. The toes untuck, inhale for our back bend. Exhale, soften. Hands underneath the shoulders, squeeze the elbows in, tuck the toes, hop the knees forward, press up through to all fours, and then the hips lift up and back, down dog. And now the left leg lifts again with the inhale. Exhale, step the foot through to the front. We're on the ball of the back foot as we lift the chest, lift the arms, finding our high lunge, sit down, roll that, right inner thigh down towards the earth. And then we'll take that position with the hands to interlace the fingers and press the palms up to the sky. So feel that openness through the fronts of the armpits. Take a breath in here, and then exhale, the back knee lowers to the ground. Steady breath as you rise back up. Exhale, the knee drifts down. Take that 3 more times. And as you do so, working into the legs, keep pressing the palms up towards the ceiling. And then we'll lift up once more. Keep the hands as they are as we step that right foot to the front of the mat, and then release the arms. And now with the next breath in, we'll rise up. Exhale, forward fold. We'll go for a halfway lift on the inhale. Exhale, refold, and we'll step back for downward dog. Just holding our downward dog for a couple of rounds of breath. And then we're going to lower the knees to the earth. And the next posture that we're going to hold for a little bit longer is rabbit pose. It's not one that we do too often in a typical yoga practice, but it can be quite a good one for the back and the shoulders. So this posture is Sasangasana in Sanskrit. And for this one, the best way to come into it, so if you come in to a child's pose, so a narrow leg child's pose, so the knees are together, and we're sitting back on the heels. The tops of the feet are released to the mat. And then we'll walk the hands forwards, drifting the belly down towards the thighs so that the forehead comes towards the mat. And just to say at this point in the posture as we settle into our child's pose, so for this posture we will be having the crown of the head on the earth, so we'll be, there won't be pressure on the neck, or at least there shouldn't be, but the crown of the head will be directly on the earth. So just be really mindful of this. There shouldn't be weights on the head. It's just a light contact between the head and the earth, because more of the tension and stretch should be in the shoulders and the back. So if you're feeling anything that doesn't feel right in the neck, then immediately do exit the posture. So just be really careful. We're not putting a ton of weight on the head here. So from our child's pose, we're going to draw the forehead so that it starts to face the knees, so that the crown of the head comes to meet the earth. So we're really tucking the chin in. And now we'll walk the hands back so that they come alongside the legs, and then keep walking them back so that they come to the heels. Take a hold of your heels with both hands. And now we'll begin to lift the hips up. So as you do so, continue to tuck the chin as you round into the back, drawing the crown of the head to the earth. And keep lifting the hips up as you tuck the chin in. And you should already begin to feel a bit of the stretch, or quite a lot of a stretch in the shoulders and the upper back as we create that sort of push-pull effect between the hands and the heels. Another option here is you can curl the toes under, keeping a hold of your heels, tuck the chin in, round the spine. So as I say, we are on the crown of the head, but we shouldn't be putting undue weight or pressure on the head here. So if you do feel discomfort, please come out of the posture. And then we're pressing the heels into the hands, but also resisting that back by pulling on the hands. And that's what brings about that stretchiness in the shoulders and the upper back. So we won't hold it for too long. It can feel quite intense. Find your breath. We'll just stay for one more round. Now we'll release from that. And just coming back onto the heels, just take a moment to reset, make any movements that you need with the head or neck that feel good. And now we'll come back into our good old downward dog. So curling the toes under and lifting the hips up and back. We'll take a breath in and the right leg lifts up. Exhale, step the foot through to the front. This time lowering the back knee to the earth and untuck the toes. Inhale, lift up for low lunge. So we're pressing the hips forwards and down. And now we're going to take the arms out wide for cactus so the elbows are in line with the shoulders. Take a breath in. And then as we exhale, the arms sweep forwards and up. So really feeling into that range of movement of the shoulders. Inhale, arms out wide. Exhale, sweep. And we'll take that 3 more times. One more time. Arms stretch up. And now floating the hands down either side of the foot, and then we're going to shift that right knee back underneath the hip. And now the next posture we'll come into is tiger pose. This is more of a back bend really, but also because we're taking a hold of the back foot, we're really opening into the shoulders, so bringing in some shoulder extension. So find your all fours position, hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, and then bend your right knee up and away behind you so the sole of the foot lifts up to the earth. Lifts up to the sky. As we inhale, draw the chest forward, look up, and then with the exhale, the knee comes to the nose, around the spine. Inhale, lift the leg, lift the gaze. Exhale, knee to nose. And then this time, we'll rise the leg up with the inhale, draw the chest forward, and then see if you can sweep that left hand round, take a hold of your foot from the inside, draw the knee back towards the center line, and then begin to kick your foot into your hand and open through that left shoulder. So as you kick into your hand, your left shoulder draws back,
Land your focus on a point in front, opening through the shoulder, drawing the chest forwards. One more breath in. And then with the exhale, release the foot nice and carefully. Land the left hand and the right knee. And then spreading the fingers wide, we'll lift the hips up and back, coming back through to down dog. The right leg lifts with the inhale. Exhale, steps it through to the front. The back foot spins out so it's parallel with the short edge of the mat. And then as we inhale, we'll windmill up, coming through to warrior two. So the knee is over the ankle, soften through the shoulders. And now we'll bring about some movement into our warrior two. So as we inhale, the arms lift up and that front leg lengthens so the hip draws back. And then with the exhale, the arms reach out, that front knee bends. We'll take that a few more times. So pairing the movement with the breath, feeling into that movement through the shoulders. Take that one more time. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, coming back through to warrior two. And then the arms windmill down. We reframe that front foot and step back through to downward dog. And then taking that flow to the other side. So with the inhale, the left leg lifts up. Exhale, the foot lands between the hands. The back knee drops, untuck the toes. Front knee over ankle as we inhale, lift up. Low lunge, so drawing the navel in towards the spine, sinking the hips forwards and down, and then bringing that flow with the arms. So the arms come out wide to cactus, elbows in line with the shoulders. Take a breath in as you draw the chest forward, and then exhale, sweep the arms forwards and up. Inhale, arms out wide. Exhale, sweep, taking that 3 more times. Keeping the legs strong and steady. One more time, arms out wide with the inhale, and then exhale, sweep. And now the hands land either side of your front foot, and we'll come back through to that all fours position, so the left knee comes under the hip, so that we can come into our tiger pose. So this time, we'll bend the left knee up behind us so the sole of the left foot comes up to the sky. With an inhale, draw the chest forward. And then exhale, knee to nose. Press the ground away round the spine. Inhale, the leg lifts, the chest draws forward. Exhale, knee to nose. And then coming back through to the start position, the left leg lifts. And then this time, reaching that right hand round, take a hold of the inside of your foot. Before you begin to kick into the hand, just make sure that left knee is towards the center line. And now begin to kick the foot into the hand. As you do so, noticing that right shoulder open, drawing the chest forward. Steady your gaze and your breath. Keep kicking into your hand and really feel that right shoulder extending open. And now release the foot. Land the right hand and the left knee. Curling your toes under, and then the hips lift up and back for downward dog. Inhale, the left leg lifts up. Exhale, step your foot through to the front. Turn out the back foot so it's parallel with the short edge. Inhale, rising up, warrior two. So once again, front knee over ankle. Feel that openness through the pelvis towards the long edge of your mat, and we'll bring out that movement. So as we inhale, arms lift. Front leg straightens. Exhale, front knee bends, arms reach apart. Inhale, sweep the arms up, the front leg straightens. Exhale, warrior two. Take that 3 more times. Inhale, everything lengthens. Exhale, coming back into warrior two. Arms reach apart. And now the hands windmill down to frame your front foot, and we'll step that left foot back, coming through to downward dog. Take a deep breath here. And then release the exhale, perhaps with a sigh. And now allow the knees to drift down to the earth so that we can come through to seated. So we're going to come into Gomukhasana, cow face pose. So you don't have to add the legs in, but I'll demo with the legs. You can just be kneeling or be cross-legged and just do the arm part of the posture if you prefer. But otherwise, have the legs out long in front of you, and then we're going to cross that right foot past the left thigh, and then take a bend in the left knee so that your heel draws to the outside of your right buttock. And then just shuffle about so that your right knee is over your left. If that already feels uncomfortable, you can lengthen the left leg out long, or just come back through to kneeling or cross-legged. So knees are stacked, and now we'll sweep the arms up nice and tall. Then from here, take a bend in the right elbow, so the hand is just at the nape of your neck. And then we'll sweep that left arm round, move that hand up towards the right hand. See if you can catch a grip of the fingers. And then we're going to press the head, the back of the head, into that right forearm. So the spine is nice and long, the chest is drawing forwards. Hold that grip between the fingers. If you find you're here and you're kind of hunched over or it just doesn't feel good, then you can take reverse prayer again or take a hold of opposite elbows. Whatever shape you're holding, tune inwards, guide your breath into the areas where you feel a stretch. We'll just stay here for 2 more rounds of breath. And then carefully releasing from that, release the hands. And we'll just take that to the other side. So if we're doing the legs as well, then take the legs out in front nice and long. And then crossing that left foot past the right thigh. And then bending the right knee so that the heel draws to the outside of the left buttock. Restack so that the left knee is above the right. Both sit bones have contact with the earth. And then we'll sweep the arms up. This time bending the left elbow so the hand drops to the top of the back, and then that right arm sweeps behind, moves up the back and catches the grip of the opposite hand. I should have said with the other side that if you find this quite difficult, you can also use a strap or a belt or similar prop here, and that will just allow the arms to be longer. So by holding the strap or similar support between in the grip of the top hand, and then just allow the strap to fall down the back, and then you can hold the bottom of it with the opposite hand. That is an alternative to this version. Just settle into your shape, pressing the head into the left forearm. Find that length in the spine as the chest draws forward. Settle into your breath. Two more rounds of breath here. And then releasing the grip of the fingers, unraveling the legs, taking some rolls of the shoulders back and forth. And then also it could feel quite nice if you were doing the hip part of the posture to just make some windscreen wiper actions with the legs. So have the soles of the feet out in front of you. Just take your weight into your hands behind you and sweep the knees from left to right, right to left. And then now we'll come through to lying down. So make your way down onto your mat. When you get there, hugging the knees in towards the chest, giving yourself a big squeeze, perhaps lifting your forehead up to your knees, and massaging the lower back into the earth, rocking from left to right, right to left.
Now we'll release the knees and have the legs out long. And before we come through to Shavasana, we'll just make some further movement with the arms. As we inhale, release the arms up above the head so that the hands touch the space above your mat. And then as the breath glides away, the hands draw back down, hands alongside the hips. Take a breath in, the arms rise up. Exhale, arms release alongside the body. Just continuing with this gentle flow. Do it as many times as you wish, or you might have already come through to stillness, that's okay. And then when you feel ready to transition into stillness, so perhaps shuffling the shoulder blades under, making sure every part of the body feels comfortable, released, allowing the toes to drift to the bottom corners of the mat. Your arms might be alongside your body, or perhaps you rest your hands on your belly and connect with your breath. Maybe the eyes close, or otherwise coming to a soft focus. And just taking these next few minutes to really rest, allowing the body to reset. Most importantly, at this point in the practice, notice how the body feels compared with the start of the practice. So taking particular note of the shoulders. So bringing awareness to any feeling that you've got there. Any differences to the start of the practice. And then perhaps your mind's eye drifts to other parts of the body. So perhaps parts of the body where you're still holding on to some tension, or maybe parts of the body that actually feel really good right now. Just taking note of that as well. Relaxing the jaw, softening the tongue in the mouth. The eyeballs relax back into the sockets. The skin of the face is soft. And if you do have the time, I do encourage you to rest here a little longer. Otherwise, slowly bring about some gentle movement back into the body. So some circles of the ankles and the wrists. Perhaps turning the head from side to side. Then coming to lie on one side of the body, just taking a moment here, perhaps using the arms, the hands for a pillow. And then gradually using your hands to guide you back up through to a seated position. And then once you've found your seat, we'll take an inhale and lift the arms up. The hands meet at the top of the breath, and then with the exhale, hands draw to the heart center. Invitation to bow the chin towards the chest. Thank you very much for practicing with me today. Namaste.